I'm just of the opinion that we don't have to go all the way with disclosure. We can start the way that we would with a minimum viable prototype in an entrepreneurial endeavor with an experiment. And an experiment might be disclosing to your Uber or your Lyft driver, or the person that cuts your hair, or the stranger at a bar. And then the next step is disclosing to maybe it's a close friend, maybe it's not a close friend. And you try it on for size. And sometimes we have to work backwards to our closest loved ones. Sometimes we have to work backwards to our best friends. Sometimes we have to work backwards to our colleagues. If you do disclose in the workplace, maybe you start with, someone who, almost certainly you start with someone who isn't your boss or the head of HR. And it's a muscle, right? Disclosure is a muscle that we have to build. And I think it's a muscle that is best accompanied by therapy. Because therapy is ideally the weekly practice of sitting with someone who is helping you increase your self-understanding. And by the way, they're mental health professionals. Like this is what they do. And I've had some funny moments with my psychiatrist where I think, gosh, can I tell him this? Can I tell him that I had this thought? Right? Can I tell him that when my infant child was born, I was worried would I ever hurt him? Because I had hurt my now wife. That was a hard thing to say. I was worried about, but it might have consumed me if I hadn't shared it. And so this is so critical to recognize the opportunity that therapy has to help us on this journey towards disclosure, to help us manage our mental health. And I recommend to anyone, if you have the good fortune to be able to access and pay for therapy, which I think is something that we have to continually bring the cost down of and increase access to. Really excited to be a part of something called the Founder Mental Health Pledge, where venture capitalists will now be putting in term sheets. 167 have signed on to this, that they support founders taking care of their mental health, including expensing out-of-pocket, non-reimbursable stuff from health insurance. And I think for anyone, the cleanest bill of mental health that you might imagine, being in therapy for 6 months every 2 to 3 years is just a game changer for your development as a person and your performance as a leader. And then on that journey, we get to milestones where the disclosure might be more meaningful. It doesn't have to start with the fireside chat to the auditorium.